Yes, boys. Hope everyone is doing well. YouTube gang, all that sort of jazz. Right, weekly breakdown is here. I'm doing it on a different day, actually. I'm doing it on Saturday, not Sunday, because I'm busy tomorrow. So, regardless of that, the markets are closed now, so we can go over stuff that happened this week just gone. I did say last Sunday that it was going to be a very, very hectic week news-wise, and that it was. Obviously, a lot of you guys have probably been in the group or, following along on your own, trading view or trades or whatever groups you might be in. But look, it was a rough week. I actually came out at a loss for the week, but I stopped trading on Wednesday. Just, none of my setups were working out for me. The pairs that I was trading just weren't acting the way that I thought they were. So a lot of my setups were failing, but nonetheless kept the risk and stop losses and all that sort of stuff nice and tight, so to minimize the kind of losses overall. And that reflected in how much I actually lost for the week. Now, if you'd been with me 3-4 months ago, my stop losses were a lot bigger, so there was more risk on the table, and in case of losing more money as well. I think my overall loss for the week actually equivalents to maybe 1.5 of my stop losses per trade back in the day. So 88 pips lost this week, but what I've explained in previous videos is even if we look at the win to loss ratio, which I'll go through in the group, you can see every single person's trades for the week. We still ended up profitable for the week. It was only 40 pips, but it's still 40 pips. That just means that the losses were made back and the 40 pips were extra. I think I placed about 11 trades, 12 trades, 9 losses, 3 wins. But you got to also remember that, I don't put multiple take profits. It is literally just one take profit. I've now stopped doing that, so we are literally just risking 1% and not spreading it across. It'll only take one trade, one trade on maybe gold or oil or something like that, or even, a currency pair like GBP AUD or GBP JPY can go and make back 100 pips in one move. But it just has to be that right move, and those right moves this week just weren't happening, and it was reflecting in a lot of groups. I'm actually quite glad that we kind of called it a day on Wednesday, Thursday, and just saw the rest of the week out, because the rest of the week the markets did just push. Gold, for a start, is pretty much following exactly like what Bitcoin is doing. Bitcoin is just pumping and pumping, so is gold. But we'll jump over to the charts and I'll go through some of the stuff that happened last week, show you through the group, show you some more, some different things that I'm actually venturing into as well, which I'll be, bringing into the elite group, and the potential forecast we will see for the up and coming week as well. Right, so this is, I don't know why I'm on LCX, but this is one of the cryptos that I'm invested in. So I like to just keep all the cryptos that I'm sort of invested in have on my portfolio. I like to keep them just on tap. I got into RNDR, I think it was yesterday, and they work pretty similar to currency pairs. I actually saw this imbalance here and all this accumulation, waited for this accumulation to be swiped out, and then I actually purchased the portfolio, or purchased it on my portfolio. I think it is on, I think I've got Kraken, so Kraken's where it's at. But look, so this is gold. Gold for the week, it is just literally increased since news last week. So obviously we've got Friday, that was Friday's news, breaking through all these highs here and resting above the 2076, and from 2076 it is just pretty much progressed all the way up with zero retracement. Now look, Bitcoin's done the same. Bitcoin has pretty much just continued to pump, and Bitcoin is basically the crypto gold, so crypto equivalent to gold. Inflation and stuff like that, non-farm payroll, all of that sort of jazz, that can affect Bitcoin as well. You tend to see Bitcoin kind of replicate what gold is doing, and the yields and this, that, and the other. So, you know, I've actually chosen to stay out of gold. I think I had 2 trades on gold. One trade was perfectly fine. I think it was from around here, 21.31, and this was based off of this imbalance being filled here. We'd had this kind of slow accumulation down on Tuesday, and then I had this imbalance filled out, was looking for a pushback into the imbalance and to sweep these equal lows. Now, it didn't actually do that. It dropped as far as 21.24. I think the entry price was a sell limit at 21.31. There, gold sell limit 21.31, and that was where it was tagged, and it dropped as far as 21.24, and it didn't quite sweep the equal lows, which was pretty annoying, before it then reversed, tapped us out at break even, but we still secured 50% anyway. And it just continued to push. Now, we had Wednesday news, we had news on Thursday, we had news yesterday, non-farm payroll. This was something that I had marked out in the video breakdown that I'd done on Thursday, and price was around here. And, you know, this was the setup that was, again, purely and simple based off the imbalance that we kind of broke these highs with. This is the accumulation with liquidity, sat below it. We had this push up and then tapped down to the T, swiped liquidity, bounced into the imbalance, and then pushed from there. And I know that a lot of groups, you know, such as these TikTok influencers and stuff like that, all they have done this week is tried to sell. Now, I'd put it in the breakdown videos in the free group, because I like to keep the free group up to date with, you know, what's going on, what kind of views I have. You know, you've got to remember the all-time highs for gold were 21.60 something, I think it was 21.49. So as soon as that 21.49 is broken, then the world is your oyster when it comes to gold. You are pretty much just having to guess level by level where gold is going to find its high. Now, that high could be 22,000, but then again, it could be 23,000. There's no reason for it to be pulling back right now, because everything is against the US dollar. DXY is dumping. You know, we had this dump back down. We did fill this gap, which is again something that I had said about in the breakdown video. You know, and DXY could potentially do this. We might have a little bit of a sell-off, push back up into these imbalances here, and then fill this imbalance at the lower end before DXY even sees about coming back to retrace. We've got this overall downtrend going on the DXY, and then we've got this small inner intraday kind of trend to the downside as well. US yields, again, I'd put this out in weekly breakdowns that we were going to pretty much, I think this was on a 4-hour imbalance here, or order block or something, one of the two. I think it was an order block. Tap this and plummet from here, and that's what it's in the process of doing. Filled this gap on, you know, for the Wednesday, I think it was, filled this gap over here, and we've got this imbalance here. It makes no sense for US yields do not drop down into this imbalance, maybe even 3.9%, and then potentially reverse to the upside. Or it could reverse from here, you never know. It is a bit of a V-bottom candlestick formation over here, which means, you know, it would have to respect this neckline, which it doesn't look like it's doing. It looks like it still wants to push a bit further down. So that means that all the while yields are pushing down, gold will continue to rise. This was a little mock-up setup that I had based off of NFP. Again, continuing, following the fact that the consensus for NFP was negative US dollar, that would still mean that pairs would be rising, gold would be rising. And it's just, you know, this was pre-NFP kind of price action on gold. And it's just, again, you don't have to trade the news, but even if you can just indicate some sort of setups out of the market, there's no harm in you placing some sort of, setup. You could even place it on your demo account, buy setup, sell setup, or whatever, sell limit, buy limit. But look, we had this imbalance here, we had this liquidity resting below here. It didn't quite tap there, but it did tap into this sell side liquidity there, and then rocketed up. Even if you'd had a buy limit here targeting this high, you would have made, a good 100 pips, 120 pip move just from having a buy limit, stops below this liquidity here. It's not a massive stop loss, probably around 50, 60 pips, but it's still a good risk to reward. It's still over a 2 risk to reward target, and it would have increased. It would have just continued to go up. But that's, again, it's something that I like to do. I don't like trading the news because it is basically a guessing game, regardless if the consensus is negative or positive. You can't foresee what the actual figures are going to be. So, and then after news, it sort of ditched around here, and then it continued to push up, break the high again. And this is what I believe gold is just going to continue to do. Monday or Tuesday, Tuesday we've got inflation. We've got inflation rate coming out on Tuesday. That high is going to be getting taken again. At the end of the day, all price is doing is just sweeping out sellers, sweeping out sellers, sweeping out sellers, because people are potentially guessing that this is the high. Oh, it must be the high now, let's sell, because they're looking to ride this bitch down for a good, all the way down to 2050 probably, to fill these daily imbalances. From 2179 down to 2150, 2050, that's pretty much 1,500 pips. That can be a good swing, but gold ain't ready to drop yet, and until such times it shows some sort of daily or weekly bearish reversal pattern, just keep buying. That's all you got to do, is keep buying, looking for areas of entry to buy. This here would have been a good area to continue. If you kept your TP open, made your trade risk free, and then you're just bringing your stops into profit. Okay, that low's created, stops into profit. That low's created, stops into profit. This low's created, stops into profit. And by the time you've pretty much got to here, you're at where your TP would have been anyway, but you're just riding it up until such times it shows that it's going to reverse on you, then take profits. But look, gold is just, for me, it's not in an area where I would look to want to trade it or even potentially to sell it, because we've got no previous market price action or anything or structure to go on. This is the highest gold's been all time. So normally as traders, we look to the left to look and see what it might be targeting. We don't have that ability now. We are literally just guessing as to where gold is going to find its ceiling. So with that being said, until it finds its ceiling, until it finds and it becomes more stable, then trade it. But like all these other groups, gold seems to be the kryptonite for everybody, and it is wiping people out. So that's why I choose to stay out of it. Right, GBP AUD, I had a few setups on there. Let me have a look and see. Look, this is my overall pip count for the week. 12 trades, 3 wins, 9 losses is what it is. But as you can see, the biggest stop loss that was hit was gold. And that was, when I say it was me purely being caught in some weird manipulation, that is what happens. And I think I've got this one here. This was 4 a.m. In the morning that this setup was sent out. This had tapped into an imbalance. I'd seen this kind of rejection. And yeah, God knows, it literally just spiked up 4 a.m. in the morning, UK time, Asia session. Asia session just decided to bust a nut, and that's what happened. And that was, stops was at 21.57, entry was at 21.51 on the point. So yeah, wiped out for 50 pips. But after that move there, I was just like, right, I'm not trading gold at all. And I was only looking for a small retracement. I was only looking for about, I think it was 2151. Yeah, I was only looking for a retracement of 100 pips. Oh, sorry, that was the stop loss, 2156. And it just went straight to stop loss. Buy and JPY buys. Stop loss was hit on the gold, yeah. And basically I was just caught in very slow movements on GBP JPY and GBP AUD, so I just decided to actually take the loss before it even hit stop loss. Just cut out because I could see that just there was low volume and all price was doing was just dribbling down after giving us a nice reversal confirmation. But cutting off loss like that actually played out in our favour because it would have actually gone to stop loss, so we would have lost more. So after I'd seen those two trades do that, I was done for the week. I didn't trade anymore, and that's what we ended up on. But it's one of those weeks, being caught in a lot of weird movements, strategies not being kind of respected. It happens. But, you know, I'm actually happy it's right, that week is over, all that fuckery is out the way. Yes, we've got US inflation on Tuesday, but it should be a quieter week when it comes to actually trading and any news outlets, so we can focus on trying to get that 88 pips back. So, you know, we've got the weekly frame here from previous weekly high, previous weekly low. So this is our trading range for the week. I now start doing this and actually looking to see, right, okay, to me, GBP AUD has swiped out this buy side liquidity. Could it be making its way down to fill these imbalances to continue its bullish momentum to the upside, or this is a reversal? But I feel like this has shown some good momentum to the upside, but it needs a bit of a retracement to continue its push up. So marking stuff out, that is my area. I think we'll have a little dip back down into this imbalance to then push up to create you know, a lower higher than this one. We've got this kind of imbalance but order block around here as well, around the round number of 19500. So again, if I can catch this move to the upside, then I will. If things look like they want to have another push, us create a higher low than this one, then that is a move that I'll potentially take. GBP JPY, I feel like is in the same presence, needs to make a bit of a retracement down. I feel like it's found its ceiling on the daily and the weekly time frame. But again, it is rejecting this area again quite hard. We've had one spike in, and again, this could potentially make another push upwards. But, you know, correlating that with the actual JPY index, this I feel is where JPY index is going to make a return to the upside. It's found its floor after this long sell-off. So I feel like JPY could now gain some strength and start pushing to the upside to fill imbalances over here and break this downward trend. So my outlook for GBP JPY is to actually start to progress to the downside. So I will be looking at shorts. Maybe this is the high. I'd like to think so, but it's not overly great price action. We've got this very big imbalance here, which has had itself filled a little, but I feel like it's going to come up again, potentially retest this trend line, then roll over. AUD USD, been waiting for these areas to be filled for a very long time. AUD has done nothing but just increase for the last week, pretty much from Tuesday onwards. It's just gone. That was based off of USD news AUD news, which was, I think, GDP, if I can remember correctly. So that is just pushed. So I am looking at these areas here. I think the weekly high will be tested again. We'll probably tap back into here to then go short on AUD pairs. Same with AUD CAD. AUD CAD, I'm looking at, again, a potential sell-off back down into these sort of areas here. Potentially test this trend line again. Same with NZD CAD. NZD CAD, I feel like, another pushback down could potentially happen. I did have this marked out on Friday, but, I'm not taking a trade on a Friday evening when volume is low. I'll wait to see how it reacts on Monday, Tuesday. It could be a case that we sweep these the previous weekly high. We have got some equal highs over here, so I feel like this actually might tap into this area and then roll over. So this setup will probably be invalid, but I'll have a relook on it on next week. US oil. Haven't had a great week on US oil. US oil was kind of bounced around, but a lot of these moves are quite big moves, quite good payoff moves, but you have to have quite small stop losses, which again, if you time it right, there is no reason why you can't have a good tight stop loss. So again, is this the area that oil's gone from being a strong buy to neutral and this, that and the other. So it's kind of right, pick your moments. We've got a lot of other areas that could be filled to potentially push again. And we've got this kind of downward trend as well, so maybe I'd look to see a potential another bounce off the trend line, rejection, then take this short on the short side. But again, it's been moving a bit erratic, a hell of a lot better than what gold has been doing, of course, but gold is just following this trend up. And GBP USD, I'd been saying for a while that I wanted to see a return to 129. 129, I think, is still on the cards for us to potentially fill this imbalance here, and then make a decline down. I think DXY is again in the process of potentially having a bit of a pullback, so this might mean that we can get into some GBP sells back down, targeting probably, it's not a massive move, but even just here I'd potentially look to go long again, to maybe push back into this area here. And whether or not that coincides with the USD DXY like index, we've got unemployment rate on the 12th, we've got core inflation again on the 12th, a lot of news. GDP as well on the 13th. So GBP is going to be heavy, very, very heavy news on GDP. We can have a look on my FX book and see what the consensus might be. So maybe it might be negative for British pounds. So that would, indicate for us to actually jump in for some shorts. But again, would rather wait for news to come out and then hop in. But that's pretty much it, guys, when it comes to the currency pairs. And the kind of outlook, I'm glad this week is over. But for the group overall, we actually ended, so we had Calvin pulled in 90, only took 2 trades for the week, but like I said, he trades NASDAQ and US 30, so those can be quite big pip movements, and that, to be fair, is probably the move that saved us for the week. There's my ones, minus 88. Brandon had a 2 pip loss. It was very, very up and down. But you can see he only really trades GU and gold. And GBP AUD, you got unlucky with that one as well. And then Connor sent out 2 trades and plus 40 pips for him. So we still ended on 40 pips overall for the kind of week. But yeah, there's been a lot of talking in the group. We've got, Deco, this guy I've known for a good year and a bit. he's jumping on the scene, bringing us some good content in regards to crypto coins. This is what actually has got me started this week in investing and building my crypto portfolio, because I feel like, common sense to a point. Finding the right ones is a bit harder, but common sense, knowing what things are going to be big moving forward. We've got a very good generation of creators, content creators, so AI and stuff like that helps a lot with creating content nowadays. So AI crypto coins are potentially a good investment. And gaming as well, I'll probably look into some crypto gaming people or crypto coins to invest into. But yeah, he's been dropping some sauce. At the end of the day, in order for you to make big money, you obviously have to have big money to risk on these kind of 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x kind of movements, but they're there. And even if you don't have that type of money and are a bit sort of cautious, $100 put into the right crypto coin, if it 10x's, you've risked is $100. It's not a lot, and it's not, it's nowhere near as kind of, it's more of a set and forget when it comes to crypto coins than it is with FX pairs and actually having to delve right in and know when a reversal is happening and this, that, and the other. A lot of the time I just stick a proportion of money in there and just leave it. But I've got a lot of crypto coins now that I didn't have before the beginning of the year. Still holding some of the majors. Bitcoin I've got, Ethereum I've always got anyway, just because that's the conversion that you need. And XRP, I've got XRP. Shiba Inu, I bought down, I think I bought down here a decent amount. I like over double, triple millions coins, and that's just had a nice push up. But again, Shiba for me, yeah, okay, I'll hold it to all-time highs potentially. See if it breaks that. I don't really know much about Shiba. I just see it advertised a lot, but I didn't put a big amount of money into there. LCX, I'm holding this. Metis, I'm holding this as well. This has kind of been a kind of good one so far. RNDR is something that I bought literally on Friday, and it's already pushing. I was expecting a bit more of a dip down here, but I actually just thought, do you know what? Fuck it. I'll put a bit of money into there, and it's doing well. Vio or whatever, Vio, money into this as well, and just to just set and forget, just to leave and hold. There's a few other ones as well that I've got involved in, but yeah. That's in the group as well. Crypto sections. This guy brings out crypto coins. Obviously you need a crypto exchange, but I just use Mexi or whatever it's called. But yeah, that is pretty much it. Some of the guys still did just take their own trades and made some money. So everybody's in there learning. Everyone's in there, taking advice and actually trading by themselves. Some are over risking, but it's by the by. But yeah, general chat has been just popping off as always. So if you want to get involved in that, just drop me a message on Instagram. My Instagram is Adam Took That. You should only know that there is one out there. But that is pretty much it for the week. So yeah, guys, as you can see, pretty volatile week, and one of those weeks. It's tough. It is very, very tough to kind of sit on your hands when you see your setups kind of playing out, but then they don't actually go your way and it ends up being a loss. But like I said, keeping that risk small. And you've got to remember that, I'm trading the way that I trade, and, I'm trading every week. So even though, this week, okay, for me was minus 88 pips, I don't actually take any of the other traders' trades. My last week was a total of 265. So all you're doing is just knocking off 88 pips off of 265. Previous week before that, 343. So it's just yes, you make some gains and you have a little bit of a pullback. You make some more gains, you have a little bit of a pullback. So as long as your pullbacks are less than what your gains are, then you'll be fine. It doesn't really matter. So don't beat yourself up if you do have a lost week, and get over that kind of aspect of it making you second guess if you're doing something wrong. Yes, of course, there's always going to be something you're doing something wrong, but it could just be a case that you were caught in a bit of accumulation. You saw your setup play out, and then the market manipulated and then pushed to your take profit. Because pretty much every single setup that I sent out yesterday, I was right on the bias but wrong on the entry. End of. I was right in knowing that it was going for a retracement or pushing up, or it was going for a buy. I was just wrong on my entry. Maybe I obviously got in a little bit too early. If I'd waited a little bit more, then it would have been a better entry, and those losses would have been profit. So, but you're keeping the risk the same, 1% per trade, which is the standard. I think Brandon even sends out that he risks 0.5%. And just remembering, this is not a race. Do you know what I mean? This is not a race to the top. If you're looking to be in this for longevity, it's about risking small and making good gains. So, if you're in these groups that are just spamming, like gold sells 10, 20 times a week, trying to just sell the top, you're just going to get caught in loss, and then you've effectively got to go and make all those losses back by potentially getting one lucky trade. Do you know what I mean? And it basically just indicates that the person that is sending the signals out has zero fucking idea. Do you know what I mean? If they had any idea, they would understand that until that all-time high is hit, and that ceiling has been found and made, and sturdy, because even when gold hits its all-time highs, it will test that resistance at least once, twice, maybe even 3 times before it then pushes down. So I mean, the market will try its hardest to break it again. If it literally is set in stone, then look for sells. But all the while the trend is going to the upside, you should be following the trend. Do you know what I mean? I've traded one retracement on gold this week, and I got caught lacking. 4 a.m. in the morning. I don't know why it happened, but yeah, it shows. I got caught lacking, and I was only going for a small 100 pip retracement, and it shat all over me. Is what it is. Shows me that I was just being too cocky to try and catch a retracement. So, the other retracement that I caught, was 60, 70 pips, but it's only a small movement before it then pushed again to the upside. So all the while the trend is bullish, buys. It's the only thing, because you're never going to you'll be very, very lucky to catch a small retracement or a big retracement. Very, very lucky. So yeah, look, that is the weekly outlook, guys. That is the weekly forecast. I'm going to try and get some content. Please drop some comments down below. Some new ideas, not some stuff that I've kind of gone over, but people haven't really bothered to go in and watch the video. Some new ideas would be highly appreciated, and I'll try and get some content out this week. The big man is over this week. Sadly, he's bringing General G with him on Monday. So I'm going to have to endure whatever that mess is going to be, because last time I checked, me and General G were not talking. He blocked me for me joking and saying he should have got a beard trim when he went on a date. But I mean, I obviously shouldn't have said that. So that'll be interesting. So there might be some YouTube videos or something made next week. But I'm also thinking of bringing out a podcast series. Now, I know podcast series are, quite big. People have doing it and this, that, and the other. But I thought about having a little twist for mine. Obviously, I'm situated in Dubai. A lot of people come and visit Dubai, influencers, a lot of trading influencers. And I think, it's a different kind of category if the actual producer or the person doing the interviews is a trader themselves, so they can kind of call bluffs. So I think there's a few people that I could get on and potentially interview and stir up a bit of drama, which would be quite funny. So let me know what you think about that in the comments below, and I will look to try and get that set up and see if I could get my first guest on there. It'd be quite funny, you know. Drop some people down in the comment section who you would like to see on there, because there are a few about, and I can see if I can make that happen. But yeah, hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and I will speak to you in the next one.